Kang looks like he's already regretting his life choices as he breaks a sweat. Rachel Dumarad smirks, her eyes already showing those glowing pink hearts as she moves in. He tries to play it cool, pointing out that a popular girl like her should have a line of people waiting to group up. Rachel just leans on the desk, giving him that "you're not getting away" look. He drops his final defense, saying he's already made a deal to form a group with Chloe. Rachel isn't even bothered, flashing a peace sign and a sharp grin that says she's still in charge. They sit together in the lecture hall, though the atmosphere is anything but academic. From the side of the room, Chloe peeks out, keeping her eyes fixed on the new pair. She watches them in silence, her expression neutral but intense. Rachel ignores the staring and pulls out her phone instead. She mentions that the guy she's looking at is pretty famous, completely absorbed by the screen. The pressure of the whole situation starts to feel literal, like Kang is actually crumbling away. Later, he's a total mess at his desk, physically trembling from the stress of it all. He grits his teeth, frustrated that he's gone from a simple life of cutting fish to this nightmare. He pictures the high-tier girls he's stuck dealing with, including the cynical Abel von Nibelung and the obsessive Rachel. Then there's Leon, who has so much protagonist energy, it's actually blinding him. Kang's gaze turns cold as he realizes just how deep of a hole he's dug for himself. It gets worse since Rachel didn't even ask before submitting the group form with his name on it. He's fuming, seriously considering cutting down the person responsible for this mess. A voice suddenly calls out to him, using the nickname Geomma. He turns around to find Chloe looming right behind him with those glowing red eyes. She tilts her head with a wide, creepy smile that definitely doesn't help his stress levels. He tries to explain that he just feels out of his depth being in a group with a star like her. Chloe just beams, looking genuinely happy to be included. He looks down at her, realizing that on paper, this group is basically a dream team. He turns to ask when their next meeting is, trying to get back to business. They head out into the academy's massive cathedral-like hallways. Chloe follows him with a skip in her step, looking much more cheerful. They end up talking things over at Starbucks, which is the local hangout spot. A drink clacks down onto the table as they settle in. Chloe looks like she's in heaven as she starts on her avocado smoothie. Kang takes a quiet sip of his coffee, finally getting a second to breathe. But that peace is short-lived as he spits his drink right back out in shock. Chloe just laughs it off, clearly finding his reaction hilarious. The coffee sits untouched as a phone starts buzzing on the table. It's a message from Rachel asking exactly where he is. He quickly taps out a reply, telling her she's late and giving her the meeting room location. The shop door creaks open just a few minutes later. Rachel struts in with a coffee in one hand and a very unamused Leon behind her. She heads straight for their table, making her presence known immediately. Leon follows right behind, his intense blue eyes fixed on Kang. Kang glances over as one more student steps into the shop to join them. The student with the orange top knot turns around, revealing a dark tattoo on his neck. Kang doesn't seem all that interested and just gives him a lazy wave. Leon reaches out for a handshake, trying to be the perfect hero. Kang looks at the hand like it's a trap before finally reaching out to grab it. Leon mentions that the battle from a few days ago was really impressive. A coffee cup is picked up from the table as they settle into their meeting. The whole group is gathered at Starbucks, with Rachel already high on energy. Leon sits with his hands folded, looking like he's about to deliver a major quest. Kang is basically blinded by the literal sparkles coming off of Leon. Rachel accidentally bumps into the orange-haired guy, who isn't exactly thrilled about it. He sits back with his arms crossed, looking skeptical of the whole situation. A close-up reveals the word hero tattooed right on his neck. Kang just sits there looking like the silent type while ignoring the guy in the hat. Chloe looks up, her eyes wide with surprise or worry. Rachel leans in, her eyes glowing pink as she whispers something to her. Chloe looks down, her own eyes glowing with a dark, intense red as she clenches her teeth. Rachel mentions that Chloe somehow managed to hold it in, though she looks a bit shaken. Kang's eyes glow with a faint light as he listens to the conversation. They're all gathered around a long table, but the atmosphere is beyond awkward. Someone starts tapping away on a laptop, getting down to business. A blue hologram of Scopuli Island suddenly projects into the air from the laptop. This is the 163 square kilometer island where their upcoming exam is going to happen. He looks serious as he goes over the details of the mission. The hologram flickers, showing some kind of digital anomaly in the middle of the forest. Leon types a command into his laptop to zoom in on the target area. The map is suddenly covered in red warning markers that pulse on the screen. Rachel and the orange-haired guy look like they're ready to jump into action. Kang and Chloe aren't quite as enthusiastic about the dangerous news. A sharp clack echoes through the shop as the laptop is shut. Leon looks around the table and asks if anyone has any last questions. The guy with the top knot raises his hand, but Leon says the instructors have it handled. A heavy silence falls over the group as they process the plan. Leon's intense gaze is compared to the cold, dead eye of a fish. He slides a set of documents across the table for the others to review. Kang watches Leon carefully, wondering what his real angle is. Leon doesn't blink, maintaining his perfect protagonist persona. A speech bubble from off-panel breaks the long silence. Kang looks over, his expression sharpening as he listens. Someone calls out to him, using that Geomma nickname again. Kang stands up to leave, but Leon stops him to ask where he's actually from. They stare each other down, the tension between them finally coming to a head. Leon's blue eyes are cold as he waits for an answer. Kang's eyes narrow as he processes the unexpected question from Leon. He thinks to himself about how many times he's had to answer this exact same thing. Leon's glowing blue eye remains fixed on him, searching for any sign of a reaction. Kang feels a bead of sweat roll down his face, wondering if Leon is really just asking about his nationality. He recalls the earlier meeting at the coffee shop, trying to piece together Leon's strange behavior. A dark realization starts to take hold of his mind as he looks at Leon. Leon's eyes pulse with a bright blue light as he asks if Kang is like him. Kang is left momentarily speechless by the weight of the question. Visions of flags from all over the world flash through his mind as he considers the possibilities. Leon suddenly breaks the tension, telling Kang to just forget he ever brought it up. As Leon turns to leave, Kang finds himself moving toward him. He reaches out and firmly plants a hand on Leon's shoulder to stop him. Leon pauses, his expression unreadable as he looks back at Kang. Kang throws the question right back at him, asking where he is actually from. Internally, Kang is kicking himself for acting on impulse without thinking it through. Leon simply replies that he's German before walking away. Leon gives a polite, almost mocking smile before turning his back on him once more. He walks away, heading straight for a door marked meeting room. Kang is left standing there, his mind racing as he tries to make sense of the encounter. A sharp clack sound echoes as he taps his fingers against the table in frustration. Kang stares off into space, his face a mask of deep concentration and unease. He can't help but wonder if Leon is another transmigrator from a different world. Later that night, Kang sits alone at his table with a simple bowl of rice. His gaze drifts to the long sashimi knife resting on the wooden surface. He picks up the blade, and a blue system notification for blessing of the blade god appears. The edge of the knife gleams under the light as he inspects the blade. The thought that Leon might truly belong to this world is almost harder to believe. He sees a vision of a figure being manipulated like a puppet by unseen hands from above. Kang groans and buries his face in his hand, feeling the weight of the mystery. He tries to remember the Leon he knew from the original game he played. He imagines Leon as the ultimate hero, clad in armor and wielding a legendary glowing sword. Kang looks contemplative as he realizes the Leon in front of him is different. The echo of Leon's words about being alike continues to haunt his thoughts. He checks his phone, but a search for Leon Van Reinhardt on the fandom wiki returns 0 results. Kang leans back, exhaling a long breath of pure exhaustion and frustration. Medea Poison appears, asking if he hasn't been visiting her a bit too much lately. Despite everything, Kang is surprised at how calm he's managed to stay. A glowing blue status window hovers in the air above his dinner table. He notices that his body grade has improved significantly after his consistent training. Earlier, he was pushing himself to the limit with sit-ups on the hard floor. The notification shows that his synchronization has jumped from 2.5% to 6.8%. As he ponders his next move, he thinks about those siblings and the battles that lie ahead. Kang focuses intensely as he interacts with his glowing blue system interface. A new notification pops up stating that the blessing activation threshold has been met and the duration recalibrated. Kang's eyes widen in genuine shock as he reads the updated information. The blessing of painlessness now has an increased duration of 40 seconds, up from 30. Kang is stunned. Significant upgrade. He realizes that all the grueling effort he's put into his training has finally started to pay off. He looks at the sashimi knife in his hands, a satisfied smile playing on his lips. 5 days before the big event, Kang is pushing his body to the limit with intense physical training. 4 days out, he finds himself in the middle of a rowdy group of students at the academy. With 3 days left, he's back at it, practicing his swings with a wooden training sword. Only 2 days remain, and the tension is palpable as Chloe prepares for the upcoming challenge. With just 1 day to go, Kang focuses on his grip, his determination stronger than ever. He executes a series of swift and precise strikes, his movements a blur of focused energy. The intensity of his training has reached its peak, and he's ready for whatever comes next. Kang takes a final moment to center himself, his gaze sharp and unwavering. The day has finally arrived. D-Day midterms, and a massive subspace gate looms over the students. Kang stands before the gate, noting how its presence has completely transformed the atmosphere of the training grounds. He takes a deep breath, preparing himself to step through the gate and into the unknown. A group of elite students, including Leon and Rachel, stand ready for the exam. Rachel, the main attacker with heart-shaped pupils, looks forward to the battle with a hungry grin. Leon, the designated leader of the group, maintains a cool and collected demeanor. The student with the orange top knot and green eyes stands ready with his communication device. Chloe, the sub-attacker, greets Kang with an enthusiastic and bright smile. Kang offers a small, apologetic smile in return as the reality of the situation sets in. Rachel stands tall with her massive S-tier halberd, and Kang looks over at Leon, the Academy's future hero who's still missing his legendary sword. Kang wonders what Leon is using for a weapon right now, while the blonde boy stays focused. Rachel starts poking Kang, bragging about her top-tier healing gear. Turns out her high-level weapon is just a recorder flute. The orange-haired student is having a full-blown panic attack over something. Rachel just watches the chaos unfold. The rest of the class looks on, completely baffled by the scene. A massive bald guy, the instructor, starts barking orders at the group. He yells at them to prioritize their lives over their grades during the training session. Leon checks his watch, clearly over the long-winded speech. Kang stands with the elite students, realizing he's surrounded by some serious heavy hitters. He's already looking like he wants to go home. Chloe walks up to Kang, looking a bit hesitant as she approaches. She starts apologizing for something that happened earlier. Kang just shrugs it off and tells her not to worry. Chloe looks down, still feeling guilty while thinking about the truce with the Demonkin. The instructor is still going off, looking way too intense for a simple lesson. Kang gives Chloe a reassuring head pat to cheer her up. That definitely worked, and she looks completely flustered now. The mood suddenly shifts as a dark, heavy energy fills the hallway. A voice echoes through the darkness, calling out Chloe's name. Kang and Chloe find themselves trapped in a cave as the ground starts to rumble. Chloe snaps awake, wondering if she just blacked out for a second. They're stuck in a cave with no signal and no way to reach the instructors. Something is lurking in the shadows, and it's getting closer. A pair of glowing eyes stares them down from the dark. A terrifying mermaid monster emerges, glowing with dark energy. The group readies their weapons, realizing they're in for a real fight. This all started a little while before the mermaid actually made her entrance. The group arrives at Scopuli Island, which looks like a bright tropical paradise. It looks like a vacation spot, but the training here is going to be brutal. The sound of people getting sick echoes through the trees. Most of the class is down for the count with massive motion sickness. Leon is one of the only ones fine, bragging about his stomach of steel. Suddenly, a weird fish with human legs jumps out of the bushes. Kang is stunned since it's a merman, but definitely not the kind from the stories. The little fish man rushes him, but it looks surprisingly weak. Kang pulls out a plain sashimi knife, thinking he might not even need a real sword for this. Leon mentions that one of their classmates already went ahead to scout the area. They look across the beach, trying to keep track of their scattered team. Rachel leads the way into the thick jungle, her halberd ready for anything. Leon waves the rest of the group forward as they head deeper into the island. Kang senses something rustling in the dense trees nearby. The group follows a red tracking line through the jungle, pinpointing something 200 meters away. A pink blur taps across the treetops at high speed, closing in on their position. Chloe drops down from above, landing perfectly right in front of a surprised Kang. Kang asks if she really just leaped through the trees to get there, and she says it's the best way to stay hidden. Leon gets straight to the point and asks what she discovered during her scout. Chloe looks a bit uneasy as she prepares to report back on what she saw. She found a massive dome-shaped stone structure with a dark cave entrance. Inside the dark cave, dozens of glowing yellow eyes watch from the shadows. It's a whole village of mermen huddled around a campfire, completely unaware of the intruders. Back outside, the group stares at the entrance, and Leon is clearly weighing their options. Kang watches Leon closely, knowing this is a turning point for the mission. The text notes the classic RPG dilemma: take the risk or play it safe and go elsewhere. Ultimately, the final decision belongs to Leon, and he looks like he's ready to move. We see a hand move a white chess piece. The game is officially on. In a flashback to school, a student with a hero tattoo on his neck is losing his mind at Kang. Leon remains calm in his seat, his mind already 3 steps ahead of everyone else. Kang smirks, realizing he's managed to manipulate the situation perfectly. Leon warns them not to rush blindly into a fight as he finishes his move. Rachel looks at Leon with actual hearts in her eyes, completely won over by his leadership. Leon gives her a confident smile, making her even more flustered. Leon's eyes flash with determination, and Kang can tell he's made his choice. Rachel doesn't wait another second. She charges forward with insane speed. Her hand grips her weapon as sparks of electricity begin to crackle. She's a total blur of motion as she closes the distance to the cave. A massive beam of light tears through the air, heading straight for the hideout. The blast hits the entrance, lighting up the dark tunnels in a flash. Mermen are sent flying as a massive explosion rips through their camp. The survivors look around in shock, completely caught off guard by the attack. Rachel leaps high into the air, silhouetted against the bright energy. The mermen look up in terror as their doom descends upon them from above. Rachel has a terrifyingly wide grin on her face as she grips her halberd. She delivers a devastating horizontal slash that cuts through everything in its path. Fish heads go flying in every direction as she tears through their ranks. Leon starts explaining the tactical mechanics of their current plan. He reveals the true power of their equipment with a dramatic metallic ring. Rachel stands tall among the bodies, her aura making the ground itself rumble. The student with the neck tattoo pulls out his flute, ready to provide support. He starts playing a tune that casts a massive buff over the entire group. The remaining mermen scream in rage, trying to regroup for a desperate counterattack. Rachel doesn't give them a chance, counting her kills as she plows through the horde. The numbers keep climbing as she shatters their defenses with ease. Rachel spins her massive halberd, executing the whirling wheel move. She lets out a crazed laugh, her pupils forming heart shapes as she enjoys the combat. Kang and Leon observe from a safe distance as the blonde girl decimates the merman. Chloe grips her katana, its blade beginning to glow with a pulsing pink light. The system announces a new skill activation, Blessing of the Cat. Chloe channels the energy, her posture becoming sleek and predatory. With a move called Catwalk, she zips through the enemy lines, leaving severed heads in her wake. She comes to a stop, her red eyes glowing with lethal intent. More mermen pounce from the shadows, screeching as they attack. Chloe doesn't miss a beat, cutting them down with a series of blindingly fast strikes. Rachel's kill count ticks up to 45 amidst a series of heavy explosions. Leon and Kang watch the carnage with grim expressions. A brief, distorted memory of the girls appears, questioning their true nature. The cavern floor rumbles as Rachel and Chloe stand ready for a new threat. A massive, angler-fish-like monster crashes down into the center of the battlefield. It lets out a roar, exposing a giant mouth full of jagged teeth as the girls charge. Rachel and Chloe meet the beast's attack head-on, their weapons clashing against its hide. They slice the creature apart, leaving nothing but chunks of dark flesh behind. The two girls move in perfect synchronization, dealing a final coordinated blow. Close-ups of their faces reveal their intense bloodlust and focus. They both leap backward at the same time, landing as the monster collapses. Kang looks visibly stressed, clutching his head as he tries to process the scale of the fight. Leon stands focused, his eyes tracking a new source of blue light in the cave. The two boys discuss their situation while the glowing eyes of hidden monsters watch them. The entire team reaches a vast subterranean lake where a horde of mermen awaits them. Leon confirms a detail with Kang, a small smirk playing on his lips. A flashback shows Leon playing chess, moving a piece with calm deliberation. Kang recalls a moment where he misinterpreted Leon's intentions during a match. A massive blast of blue energy suddenly erupts, catching Kang by surprise. Leon and Kang find themselves standing on the edge of a high ledge overlooking the water. Leon looks down at the depths below, his expression unreadable. Rachel, Chloe, and the flute player look up at them in total disbelief. Kang's eye glows with a piercing blue light as he prepares for what's next. A titanic splash hits the cavern floor as a giant silhouette emerges from the pool. The water explodes upward as the massive creature makes its presence known. The boss is revealed, the Demonkin Mermaid, a towering monstrosity of purple flesh and tentacles. The group is frozen in terror, the sheer pressure of the boss's aura weighing them down. A choice appears before Kang. He can either run for it or stand and fight. Rachel yells at the flute player to call for help, realizing the instructors are nowhere to be found. Kang notes that the communication lines are dead, and a dark smile crosses his face. Kang barks out orders, telling Rachel to hold the front line while the flute player buffs them. Chloe gasps, her eyes wide with shock as she tries to pull herself together. Kang firmly grips Chloe's shoulders, insisting that she must leave while he stays to face the threat. Chloe looks up at him with a trembling expression, her red eyes searching his face for any sign of hesitation. The group begins their frantic retreat, their silhouettes moving away as Kang prepares to make his stand. Rachel and the orange-haired student cry out in shock, unable to believe that Kang, the sword demon, is actually going to fight the boss alone. Kang stands resolute before the Demonkin Mermaid, the massive blast of magical energy illuminating his defiant silhouette. Under the intense blue glare, Kang's expression is cold and focused, his mind completely clear. A brilliant flash of light erupts as Kang draws his sword, his eyes glowing with a lethal power as he prepares for the clash.